Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is about your inner world. And the idea here and kind of the inspiration behind this is a lot of us have gone on vacation in the last month or so. So that tends to happen around this time of year, whether you're, in the northern hemisphere and it's summer, or you're in the southern hemisphere and it's winter. There are times there's a break here where a lot of people will go on holiday, and so the question is, what is your expectation of going on holiday? Do you expect things to be perfect? Do you expect the stress to decrease? What's the expectation you say to yourself? Like, when I get to this place, then I will be able to feel relaxed. When I'm able to do this thing, then I can relax. Then I can be the best version of myself. Then I can finally let go of all of these things that are bothering me. And the kind of the inspirational quote for this was one from Carl Jung, which is, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." And so what you'll find is that even when you go on holiday, your inner world comes with you. You can't escape you. That the you that's around is always going to be there with you, no matter what you do, and no matter how you may try to avoid it. And I guess that's how this ties into mindfulness practice, is this kind of avoidance of whatever it is doesn't work, and we'll find that avoiding ourselves is the way to increase our trauma, increase our difficulty towards ourselves. So the way to become more at peace is to roll out the red carpet for yourself and to be authentically as you are in each moment. So is that a possibility for you, or is that something that seems highly elusive? And so that's kind of the idea here, that if you're if you're and if you have personal problems, if you're dealing with stress in your life, if you have mental issues that are going on, that you've got thoughts that seem to come back over and over again, that this version of you comes along with you on vacation, that you, despite your attempts to escape, you find that you are always there. And so this even reminds me of Jon Kabat-Zinn's maybe most famous book called "Wherever You Go, There You Are." That the you that comes is the you that you are always with yourself, that you can't get away from you. So one of the ways to make this better, to alleviate this pain, is to get to know yourself. And that's where mindfulness and meditation comes in. So is it possible for me to get to know myself authentically and to know myself exactly as I am? There's actually a Rumi quote here that I've discovered that I think goes along with this as well. And so I'll go ahead and read that quote. "Do you know who you are? You are a manuscript of a divine letter. You are a mirror reflecting a noble face. This universe is not outside you. Look inside yourself. You are everything that you want. You are already that." And I think this is true for so much that happens in life, that as you look externally to fill yourself with things, or to fill yourself with experiences, or to find ways to distract yourself, you end up only avoiding yourself, and that this you that's here can't improve until we face it and we confront it and we accept ourselves as we are, and we say, this is the state that I am. And if we want to have some improvement for ourselves, right, that's the first step, is to say, this is me, this is who I am, this is the way that I am. And these days, as we have, and I think this is recently, right, maybe since 2010, is that as we try to look outside of ourselves, the more that we look outside of ourselves, the more we find that we aren't able to find what it is that we're looking for. And the real way to explore, to find more as human beings in general, is to look inwardly. That there's a lot to explore outside, but there's even more to explore as we go inside and we look into ourselves, and we continue our process of inward looking. And that's really what meditation is about. And so accepting yourself as you are in this moment. So let's go ahead and get into practice. Get comfortable and observe what happens as you practice your meditation today. And every single meditation is a step forward in the process of self-knowledge and self-understanding, and it's a very long journey. So just encourage you to keep with it, even if nothing special happens today. Each step, each time that we come into practice, we're getting a little tidbit, a little more insight into ourselves. So if you like, close your eyes, bring your back away from the backrest, sit up straight, notice that you're breathing. And see if you can concentrate your attention on your breath. Where do you find your breath today? Today I'm concentrating my attention on my abdomen. It's examining the expansion and contraction. I've actually unbuttoned the button to my shorts so that my belly can expand and contract more comfortably. Without any restriction. So thoughts may come in the mind. You'll find that most thoughts have some version of I to them. There's always a component of me, how this affects me in our thoughts. So see if you can be aware. Every time your concentration on your breath is interrupted by thinking, just be aware of what that thought is that came in, that stopped you from doing what you intended to do. And then as best you can, let go. Refocus the energy. Refocus your concentration back to the abdomen. Back to that feeling of expansion and contraction. See if you can fully hold your attention at observing that feeling. And sometimes focusing on the breath can feel challenging. Maybe it feels like there's not a lot to focus on. The mind wanders away easily. I would just encourage you, don't worry about that. This practice is designed to be something that isn't extremely novel or engaging. In fact, following the breath is following something that can be very mundane. This is by design. So don't worry about it if your mind wanders often. Just redouble the resolve. Come back. Focus again on the feeling of the belly rising and falling with each breath. The feeling of your t-shirt rubbing against the skin of your belly as your belly expands and contracts. Maybe focusing attention on the navel. Noticing where the navel is relative to the spine. Expanding outwards as you breathe in. Inwards as you breathe out. Okay, less than 2 minutes to go. Keep it up. Okay, our 15 minutes is about up. I'm going to close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay. Thanks everyone for practicing with me and for being here with each other. How did it go today? How was your practice? What did you discover about your inner world? Is there something new that you saw today? Is there something, or did you stay focused the whole time? Did you find yourself wandering? What was the experience like? Now I'm going to look at the chat. Hi, John. Welcome. Sorry to have missed the previous events. No worries. Like, if you miss the events, just know that I'm still going to be here on most Tuesdays and Thursdays in Singapore time to lead these practices. So, again, the judging, the person that benefits from coming to practice is you, and we appreciate having you for sure. So no need. The point is, no need to say sorry. Thanks for being here. Hi, Samia. Thanks, Gene. Samia says lots of contractions and unprocessed stuff despite my practices. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but I certainly can. It's always a lot of contractions. I like that. It's a good word. It's like kind of when we see that uncomfortable thing. Do we have this kind of feeling? Like the bracing against it, like, ugh, I don't want to see that. And that's part of the practice, right? It's part of the practice, seeing that that's there and seeing if you can not get frustrated that it's still there. Robin says, I wandered, but I came back. And I really enjoyed the opening talk. Thanks, Robin. Angela says, I wandered a lot, even stood up a bit. feeling unrest today. Thanks for sharing. And that's something to remember, is that our practice, our seated practice, doesn't have to be, you don't have to do a seated practice to meditate. And in fact, that's something that I know that I've been doing a lot of seated practice here lately, and I've really been thinking about starting to go back and do a little bit of movement practice for people who are more open to doing movement practice. So sometimes it can be very frustrating to try and sit and focus on the breath and the mind's going all over the place. Or you go, hey, I'm a person that has ADHD and sitting still isn't possible for me. So, let's explore mindful movement again and talk about its applications as well in the upcoming events. Jean says, not new. I noticed that whatever distraction I have comes whatever I'm working through. Thanks, Jean, for sharing. And Samia says, so nice to have accepted it too. Thank you. And Sybil says, usually I'm not distracted, but today I had lots of issues on my mind before starting, so I've struggled to avoid wandering of the breath. Thanks. Thanks for sharing. And I think, I can say that my mind almost always wanders a lot when I meditate. That it's rare that I stay focused. I remember the last meditation retreat I went on was nearly a year ago now. And that was one of the common themes, was that I expected my mind to settle, and maybe because of that, my mind didn't settle. So for the entire 11 days of retreat, I was constantly wandering around, and just the frustration I felt about that. And just go, hey, I think partially too is because other retreats that I'd been on, I achieved a peaceful state at some point throughout the retreat. And I was desperately desiring for that to come when I was on this long retreat last time. And because of that desperate desire, it never came. And so it was just kind of like, that's the practice. The practice is letting go, letting things be as they are, and also having discipline. I think that, to go back to our talks on discipline, one of the reasons I wasn't able to achieve any, or, besides the expectations, so the expectation's pretty important. The other thing was that I found that I got very tired. And when my mind wandered, I just went, okay, it's okay, just let your mind wander, right? And this is not the way to meditate or to have a successful practice. Is that if you let the mind wander, just sharing my experience, when I let my mind wander, I found that I definitely wasn't able to do the kind of self exploration that I needed to do. Okay. And speaking of retreats, I guess I've got in September, I'm going to be heading back to New York for a retreat with Jon Kabat-Zinn. So I'm looking forward to that and excited. Besides whatever I'm going to get for myself, I'm looking forward to sharing that experience with you. And it's going to be nice to meet Jon, who has really been the gateway for me to get into meditation. And without Jon Kabat-Zinn's work, I never would have started meditating. So it's going to be nice to go on that retreat. And so we'll probably explore some mindful movement. I've also thought about doing some talk about my previous retreat. I did quite a bit of recording a lot of what was shared on that retreat when I was on it, and even though it's been nearly a year, I haven't shared it here on Insight Timer. So I may consider doing that for the upcoming sessions. So I haven't scheduled those yet. So those will be coming soon once I really feel what's needed. Yeah, I hope I can tell him too. Thanks, Liz. Okay, let's close our practice the way that we do, by sharing our well wishes with each other. So ending with a little bit of loving kindness. You can repeat after me if you like, or you can listen in. It's up to you what you feel comfortable doing. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life, everywhere, be happy and peaceful. Okay. Thanks for joining. See you next time, Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, Singapore time, 5:10 a.m. See you then. Bye-bye.